Hey everybody, welcome to episode 16 of The Commit. I'm Neil.
And I'm Richard.
Richard, you were at Devpost this past weekend at ThoughtWorks, is that right?
Yeah, definitely. Big thank you to Caitlin and the team for throwing the hackathon and having me there. And yeah, I went to judge.
Cool. So as a judge, I want to ask you a couple questions about that. What's like the most important question that you ask participants when they're presenting?
Oh yeah, definitely. So I have one question that I've learned over time is awesome for unlocking really like what's happened for that team. And I always ask, what was the hardest part of creating this? And I find that really gets to like the core of the team's experience and really helps you kind of have them explain their process and what they learned, which is what's all important at a hackathon, right?
Cool. And do you think it's important to like have a technical background, to be a developer, to be someone who codes every day, something like that?
I think it helps. I mean, if you don't have a technical background, I think you're going to struggle a lot of the time to really get to the core of the project and understand what it is. I don't think you need to develop every day, but I do think that if you're not technical enough to really understand the projects, you need to make sure that you ask the teams to explain those to you and definitely make sure the organizers know.
So speaking of that, and really getting to the core of what the project is, how important is the pitch on stage, right? The pitch is often a crowd pleaser. So.
Yeah, definitely. And the pitches can be really fun, right? We've all got memorable projects that we've seen at hackathons where they just nailed the pitch and it was a lot of fun. I think as a judge, the pitch is about context, right? You're there to judge the project and not the pitch. And if you judge with the pitch, it really disadvantages some people who maybe, a whole team has been up all night, no one slept, and maybe they're kind of off their game pitch-wise. Use the pitch for context. If you follow the pitch and let it explain what the project's supposed to be doing, then use your technical understanding of it. That really gives you a rounded picture of what was created. So don't judge on the pitch, use the pitch to find the project.
Cool, and if you have any more questions about judging, you should just email Richard. He's the guy.
Happy to help.
He knows everything. So next, let's talk about a couple books that we've been reading recently.
Awesome. You've been reading these books because you've been unwell, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's right. I'm at home and I'm just sort of like paging through chapters on my Kindle. So I've been reading a bunch of books by Neal Stephenson, Snow Crash, Seven Eves, The Cryptonomicon. What's really cool about Neal, besides us sharing a wonderful name.
And a wonderful spelling of that name.
It's true. Is that he writes about a lot of sort of like cyberpunk stuff. So his first book, Snow Crash, was about this hacker who's, really big in this VR space. And by the way, it's just like back in the 90s. He writes really prescient stuff. Mm-hmm. But then he's like working with the mafia and he's working with neurolinguistics. It's crazy. It's actually just like a super fun book to read. And all of his books are like that. You'll have a lot of fun with them.
That's awesome. So I've got a book as well, but before I introduce the book, I really need to apologize to the author because I'm 100% wrong. I'm 100% correct in that I'm going to mispronounce your name. But my book is Skyfaring, and it's called A Journey with a Pilot by Mark, wait for it, Van der Haken. And this book, Neil, is beautiful.
It's definitely the wrong pronunciation.
It totally is, but it doesn't detract from a great book. So if you're an aviation geek like me, this is amazing. This book is so poetic, and it's about the human emotional experience of a commercial airline pilot. So it's about travel and how planes work and aerodynamics and engineering, but all written from a very beautiful human perspective.
It's not about George Clooney.
It's not about George Clooney. He's not even in it, I don't think. Maybe in the movie version. But Mark is an amazing writer. I think some of his stuff has actually been featured in the New York Times. You may remember they built this like really beautiful multimedia site that contains some excerpts from this book. I love this book. Enjoy it. Check it out.
All right, you got some great reads. So next up, staff picks.
So my staff pick is Obsidio, which is Latin for siege.
The Siege!
So this is a project by 3 hackers from DevHacks. It's a tower defense game with some awesome mechanics. Been playing it a lot in the office, and Robin is really owning Neil on it, which is pretty hysterical. So
he's a better gamer than I am to begin with, so let's just let that slide.
This guy. Anyway, it's a top-down shooter, so you've got recharge stations, you've got turret defense, towers. It's really hard, but what I love about the game is that you can deploy a lot of different tactics in there to really kind of help you play the game you want to. It's built with Socket.io, Node, Canvas, and the team are going to keep working on it. Check it out. Neil?
Cool. So I picked AC Unsubscriber, which was a project from the Angular Connect Office 365 hackathon last weekend. It's a Chrome extension that actually looks through your Outlook inbox and identifies newsletters and bulk email with an unsubscribe link. And then it lets you unsubscribe from them individually, or you can sort of bulk unsubscribe from them all at once. It's a great use of a Chrome extension and the Office 365 APIs.
That's really cool. I got a big long list of newsletters I'm waiting to get them subscribed from.
But not our newsletter, right?
Oh, no way, dude. I'm on that for life.
Okay.
All right, hackers. That was all for this episode of The Commit. We'll see you next week. Happy hacking.
Happy hacking.